Ladies and gentlemen, the Green Bay Packers are one game away from clinching a playoff spot. One win away from clinching a playoff spot. What was it, about 5 weeks ago? We were 4-8. I could not have envisioned this. I mean, to a certain extent I could, but I really didn't think it was going to happen because I didn't think this football team was very good. The last 5 weeks, they've proven me wrong. They have proven me wrong at every step. And a little bit of it has been luck. A lot of it has been them playing a lot better football. Defensively, especially. Offensively, involving Christian Watson. And Christian Watson, I can't tell you how big that guy is for the offense. Even when he's not having a huge statistical game, he is making a difference, opening up the field for the rest of the receivers, for the running game, for Aaron Rodgers himself. This team is red hot right now, and they have had some pretty impressive wins along the way. Last week in Miami, this week against Minnesota. I mean, they are doing everything they need to do to win games. This is the identity that I thought this team was going to have this year, and it took them a while to figure it out. To run the ball, smash mouth, defensive football, but they finally figured it out. They finally got things together and figured it out. And now, literally, they need to win one game at Lambeau Field against the Detroit Lions to get to the postseason. Detroit has played good this year. They have played good this year. But historically speaking, at Lambeau Field, the Detroit Lions do not do very well. Historically speaking, Jared Goff in the cold weather does not do well. And also of note, this isn't straight up either team wins and they get in. For the Packers, if they win, it's a win and in. For the Lions, it's if Seattle loses. And based on the scheduling for the NFL, the Packers could very well be playing this game at night, after most of the other games have been played. So Seattle, if they win earlier in the day, that would eliminate the Lions, and that gives them much less to play for at Lambeau Field in Week 18. So yeah, things are looking really good for the Packers, and I don't want to jinx it because, you know, they're playing so well right now, and it would be so classic Packers, at least this Packers team, to lose their final game against Detroit and miss the playoffs. But, I mean, the way they're playing right now, it's like they're playing great, and it's really fun to watch, and it's been an absolute pleasure watching them play football for sure. Much more fun and entertaining to watch than in previous years, or in previous weeks of, early season, that Jets game, the Giants game, the Washington game. This team, they just looked flat. They looked boring, uninspired. And they still have some weaknesses, obviously. Is this a Super Bowl team? Probably not. But I can't say I haven't enjoyed the ride thus far. It's been really fun watching them find an identity. And let me tell you, going into next season, making the playoffs on a run like this, finding their identity as a team late in the year, that could go a long way. So, going on a magical run and winning the Super Bowl would be it would be the best sports moment of my life. Simply making the playoffs in the position that they were in is pretty amazing, if they can do it next week, of course. But as for the game today, the special teams, Keyshawn Nixon, that guy is literally like the catalyst for change around here. When that guy started getting his snaps, started playing over Amari Rodgers, everything about this team just seemed to change. Like, the demeanor changed, the energy around the team changed. Everybody seemed to be playing better. And I just feel like there's like a part of it that was connected to Keyshawn Nixon coming in and playing and, establishing himself as one of the best returners in the league. I cannot believe that this guy was on the bench for as long as he was. I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that Amari Rodgers was returning kicks for as long as he was. Because this guy is electric. Keyshawn Nixon is electric. The kickoff return today, 105 yards. Simply electric. The dude is a speed demon. He breaks tackles. He can read the gaps on a kick return really, really well. Amari Rodgers could do none of that. And he's also sure-handed. That's also something Amari Rodgers wasn't. So, for the life of me, I cannot believe why Amari Rodgers was on the kick return and punt return duties for as long as he was. Thankfully, they made the change before it was too late. But obviously, you have to think about, well, what if they had made the change earlier in the season, you know? But the defense, too, 3 interceptions, Rudy Ford, Darnell Savage, and who was the other one? Oh, Adrian Amos. All three safeties got a pick today. That's pretty awesome. And Darnell Savage, the pick 6. The blocked punt by the Packers earlier, or the Vikings blocked the Packers punt on their first possession. I was thinking, you know, this isn't going to go well. And the defense making that stand at the goal line, at the 1, that was the turning point in the game. That was the difference in the football game. Because if the Vikings score on that, you know, on that goal-to-goal situation, it's a lot different of a football game. Maybe they still lose, but it's a lot different of a football game. And I feel like it's a similar, like it's almost poetic to what week 1 was in Minnesota with Christian Watson dropping the touchdown on the first play from scrimmage. I feel like it's literally like poetic. That, you know, it's like a similar situation. Like the Vikings not scoring a touchdown there, like that could have changed the whole game, and we could have been talking about a Packers loss and being eliminated versus a Vikings loss, and you know, the Packers staying alive. You know, it's that little difference. It's that one play at the beginning of a game. You know, it could make the difference. But all 3 phases of the game showed up. Aaron Jones, phenomenal game, 100 yards rushing. Rodgers, game managed. He managed the game, and he did a great job of it. I mean, he got the ball to his open receivers. He let the run game do the heavy lifting. And that's really what they need Rodgers to be at this point. And if they need something special, you know, that touchdown to Tunyon, they have it. That touchdown to Tunyon, where he, you know, saw the pressure, reset the pocket, and threw a beautiful throw to Tunyon for the touchdown. That was Rodgers being special. That's really what they need from Rodgers at this point in his career. He needs to be the guy who manages the game and be special when the time comes for it. And so far, over the 4-game winning streak, he's done just that. So, what a victory, though. Feels so good beating the Minnesota Vikings, I can tell you that. Because there is not one franchise in all of sports that I loathe more than the Minnesota Vikings. I cannot stand them, and seeing them get absolutely pummeled at Lambeau Field, a team that has literally a negative point differential. We have a positive point differential. The Packers have a positive point differential. The Vikings, a negative, even though they're 12-4. That's pretty incredible. Honestly, that's incredible. And, you know, people have been watching the Vikings all year like I have because, you know, the local network always has the Vikings game when the Packers aren't on. It's been known that the Vikings are not as good as their record shows, and it really, really showed its ugly face today because they were thoroughly dominated in the trenches, in the pass game, on special teams. I mean, everywhere across the field, it was just a bloodbath for the Packers. But like I said, never feels never a bad day when the Packers beat the Vikings, especially the way they did today. So I'm going to be enjoying this one for a little bit. But anyways, guys, though, one more game to decide who gets into the playoffs, and I truly cannot believe that I'm saying that the Packers, literally, if all they have to do is win and they're in. I cannot believe that they're in this position, but hey, instead of Aaron Rodgers going God mode like it was in 2016, it was the rest of the team taking things up a notch. It wasn't Aaron Rodgers playing necessarily better football. It was just the team itself playing better, and that's really got me, you know, feeling better about this football team than that 2016 team. So we'll see what happens next week, and I hope the Packers can get in and maybe make some noise in the postseason. Who knows? Get in, just like the Packers did 2010, the number 6 seed, won 3 straight road games, won the Super Bowl. Could happen, never know. But anyways, guys, that's all I got to say in this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. And as always, go Pack, go.